All right, we have a new announcement today. The Age of Apocalypse is here. The new X-Men box, which I think I lost a bet now. I think I said it was going to be X Factor, and it is not. Oh well, but they're doing a new box. We're going to go through this. I have not really read through this. Like, this is going to be pretty hot takes. I read like little snippets, like really fast, but that's it. So I haven't really read that much of this box. So again, you're just gonna be getting my hot takes on this. So let's jump over to the page and talk a bit about it. All right, so here it is. Here's the Age of Apocalypse box. We got Bishop on it. We got Magic on it. And is that Beast? I don't know. I don't know my X-Men well enough, but that's all right. All right, so the end of the world has come after defeating the likes of Magneto, Mr. Sinister, and Strife. The X-Men and X-Force have returned home, expecting some well-deserved rest. Instead, what they found is worse than anything they could have imagined. Professor X is dead. Womp, 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 womp. In the world is in ruins, and a ruthless tyrant rules over what remains of humanity with an iron fist. Where did they go? That's so bad. I should really read the campaign more. So the Age of Apocalypse has arrived. The seventh campaign expansion, blah, blah. All right, so this is the conclusion. As they've said, we've talked about in this channel that they were only doing a series of 3. This is the third one. As the conclusion of the Mutant Trilogy of expansions, this campaign sees the X-Men and X-Force team up to take down one of the most powerful mutants in history, Apocalypse. So this is interesting right off the bat because a lot of people are like, oh, are they just like doing a one-off of the X-Force stuff and that's it? Or are they going to be going to X Factor? Or are they going back to X-Men? It sounds like it's going to be kind of a mashup between X-Men and X-Force stuff, which is good because they each need like just a little bit more, right? What we have is obviously good, but a little bit more would have been really nice. So it's nice if they complement both those trait types. Or both those, those types. Comes with 5 brand new scenarios, and just like all the other campaign expansions, you can play each one of these scenarios individually as part of a larger campaign. This box also kicks off a new wave of playable X-Men heroes for the game. So again, maybe they're not going to be doing X-Force heroes, but as long as they do like supports and stuff for X-Force, like I'm chill with that. Beginning with Bishop and Magic, both of whom come with fully pre-built and ready to play decks right out of the box. This foe is unlike anything your heroes have faced before. You'll need to pull out all the stops to take him down. Do you have what it takes? Yeah, I mean, I probably do. I have Valkyrie. Of course I have what it takes. All right, in Age of Despair. The story of Age of Apocalypse picks up right where next evolution left off, at the graves of Charles Xavier. Our heroes barely have time to grieve when the first prelate. Okay, so Unis and his squad of infinites. Oh, that sounds scary. So, all right, so we have Unis here. A 1/2/12 life. Comes in with toughness. If the amount of threat on Gene Pool, which we assume is a side scheme of some sort, or maybe the main scheme, is at least 3, he gains Vitality. If it's at least 6, he also gains Stalwart. And then he can also gain a boost icon of 9. That's interesting. That's a cool way of doing it, right? More threat on kind of changes how he works. So I like that. And that's just his card. Okay, cool. Enters the fray with a legion of infinite soldiers. So 1, 2, 3 stat lines. Again, they have kind of the same exact thing. The only downside with this is like constantly checking cards, right? So if there's a lot of cards that have this stuff, like, not that it's the worst thing. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, get ready to do a lot of card checks is all. Minion gains quick strike with at least 3. Surge with 6 and 3 more hit points. All right, so if they're already out and it gets a lot, like gaining quick strike and gaining surge isn't terrible if they're already out, but the last one kind of stinks. So that's something. Unis and his minions draw strength from the gene pool. Okay, so what is it? It is a side scheme, permanent setup. It comes in with 4. After an ally is defeated by anything other than consequential damage, place 3 threat here. There we go. We've been talking a bit about what are they going to do about allies? Because allies chump blocking is a little too strong. It's really, there's a lot of space to play in there. We've talked about this on the live stream in the past, which if you had or not a part of, twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking, go join us there. But that's an interesting way of doing that. I really like that just chump blocking is kind of being pulled away from us a little bit. I really like the design. Which accumulates threat whenever the hero's allies are defeated. Gene Pool grants both Unas and the Infinite several new abilities with very much fuzz, and also add threats through Prelate. Sidearm attached to Unas gets +1 attack. After Unas attacks and defeats an ally, place 1 threat on Gene Pool. Okay. Interesting. After you make a basic attack against Unas, spend a energy and fist resource to discard this card. Okay. What did we just do? And the effects on the main scheme, hunting gene traders. Okay, so main scheme 11 threshold. Ooh, that's a lot. Starts with 0, 1. Wow. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 threat on gene pool. Oh, wow. Okay. So the first one just places threat on gene pool. So you're always going to kind of keep that in check. That makes sense why this is higher then, because if you're going to be dealing with gene pool and this, like, that's basically like two main schemes you have to pay attention to, right? Evacuate survivors, we'll get to in a second. Unis is a dire threat to the heroes on his own, but he is not the only prelate. I'm gonna have to learn how to say this. Prelate of Apocalypse at large. While playing the Age of Apocalypse campaign, the heroes must rely on their allies to handle special side missions around the globe. These missions take the form of special mission side schemes. Okay, so we're getting a new thing called mission side schemes. After you resolve a mission attempt, place one attempt counter here and deal 1 damage to each ally at the mission. If there are 4 attempt counters here, remove mission team from the game and flip this card over. When defeated, shuffle each player card at the mission into its owner deck, flip mission team and this card over. Okay. Which can only be thwarted by allies that you send take care of them. These allies form your mission team. Okay, so mission team is a support. Mission team cannot be discarded and the first player gains control of it. Exhaust mission team and choose to reduce the cost of the next ally play to this mission by 2. Okay, and make a mission attempt. Okay, it won't be able to help you deal with the main villain while they're away. They also don't count towards your ally limit. Okay, so you can have extra allies in your deck. Send them out to deal with this thing. We don't know why yet. We don't know what flips over. We don't know if it's bad, what's good, anything like that. But I guess they're expanding upon the side scheme thing with missions. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's my only worry, we know nothing about it, is that now I'm gonna have to kind of play 2 things at once, right? This was kind of the thing that we saw with personal side schemes, is too many personal side schemes out there. You're not dealing with the game, and the game is getting out of control. The only worry is that if you have mission stuff going on and personal side schemes and regular side schemes and everything else going on, right? Like when do you have time to like play the game, right? That's my only worry, but we don't know enough about it, but that's just hot take worry. Side missions come to their own special rules and mechanics. Oh, I guess we're gonna, okay. As well as overseer minions such as Bizarre Sugar Man. Yeah, he is bizarre. Null 5, victory 5, cannot take damage while another minion is at the mission. Okay. After you discard cards, heal 3 damage from Sugar Man for each physical resource discard. Okay. That get in your way. It can be challenging to defeat them, but the effort is worth it. Okay. In addition to special campaign rewards that can aid you in later scenarios, you also get an immediate benefit depending on the current side mission. For example, if you defeat evacuate survivors, it flips over. Okay, so finished. After you flip to this side, remove each card in the mission area from the game and do the following. If the mission was not defeated, deal one. Oh no, it's just deal. It looks weird. Each player a face down encounter card. If the mission was defeated, each player searches their deck and discard pile for 1 card and adds it to their hand. I don't know if that's worth it. Just to add 1 card to my hand? Like if it was 1 card to play, sure. Unless you pull any card you want from your deck and discard pile and add it to your hand. It also flips mission team to its other side. Okay. Exhaust mission team, choose a player to draw. Okay. All right, that's a little more worth it, right? That's a little better to be able to exhaust it and draw an extra card. Okay. That you can get me on board then for like going through the mission process and building out more and all that stuff. Like that's a little bit better. Granting your party some additional card draw for the rest of the scenario. We won't get into too much detail of the ins and outs of side missions today. Just letting them know they do a great job making each campaign scenario. So is it only for campaigns? Yeah, I guess it's okay. So it might only be for a campaign too. This might be their campaign hook is mission cards and not a new thing. So if that's the case, if it's just a campaign thing, 100% on board. Like, yes, I think that's a cool idea. I think it's different, obviously. If this was a new thing they were adding into the game, a little less for it. Not that it's bad by any means or anything, but I think as a campaign, okay, I must have glossed over the campaign part. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, if that's how they do the campaign, totally on board, totally fine. I think that's great. Yeah, the flip over thing I don't think is great, but the other side of Age of Apocalypse makes a lot more sense and helps with the campaign. I'm sure it will do more with the campaign. So yes, I'm on board with that. It'd be interesting to see if you could put it in regular games. Not that I would really do it, but you know, it's nice to have options is all. All right, so speaking of threats, there's a new standard encounter set in this expansion as well. Well, the standard 3 set. Let's take bets now. Do we think it'll be harder than standard 2? Do we think it'll be easier than standard 1? Do we think it'll be in the middle? Put down in the comments. This set serves as a side grade to the original standard set by changing how nemesis enter play. Instead of Shadow of the Past, I think I think they watch my streams and take pity on me. I really do. Treachery from each normal standard set. This set provides permanent environment pursued by the past. All right, so permanent setup. After you place a pursuit counter here, if the number of counters here is at least 3 more than the number of players, so for me 4, remove each counter here. If your nemesis minion is in play, it activates against you. Otherwise, flip this card over. All right, so that comes into play with pursuit counters, and then it flips. After you flip to this side, find your nemesis minion and reveal it. So it says side area, put all this up, shuffle your encounter deck, and then flip this card. Okay, so it's just flipping over. That's fine. The rest of the standard 3 has various ways of placing pursuit counters with cards like Dark Designs. Place 1 pursuit counter on Pursuit of the Past. Then if it has any counters on it, the villain schemes. Okay, then it has Sinister Strike. Place 1 card, and then it gains Surge, or the villain attacks you. Each nemesis minion in play activates against you. If no minions activate this way, place 3 pursuit counters. Okay. So it's roughly set the same difficulty as the original standard set. Okay. Hopefully you made that bet early on. So be sure to give it a try if you want to shake things up. I think it's interesting that what they're trying to do, right, is like you'll slowly know when Shadow of the Past comes, essentially. Right? So you're getting all these pursuit counters slowly over time so that you could prepare for it. It's an interesting way of doing it. I think it's definitely worth checking out and doing, for sure. It'll be interesting. If caught off guard, like if they don't have a form of caught off guard, which I assume they will. I assume it's gonna be exactly the same as standard 1, except it's Shadow of the Past is taken out and they put one more like extra card in. But yeah, that's an interesting way of doing it. It will be fun to see in general. Okay, so Harbinger of Doom. So 4 horsemen, a lot of people were talking about this on chat. Would it be 4 different scenarios or 1? It looks like 1, so that's good. So you have to deal with the most notorious agents of Apocalypse, the 4 horsemen. So War, Famine, Pestilence, and Death. Scenario pitch against the 4 villains at once. So let's check them out. War is a 1-2-9 hit. 9 hit points. After War attacks you, if you have at least 1 hit point, discard an upgrade or support you control. That stinks. After Famine attacks you, if you have at least 1 hit point, discard top 10 cards of your deck. That's terrible. Okay. After Pestilence attacks you, if you have at least 1 hit point, treat your text box as if it were blank. Huh? Until the next villain phase begins. Okay. After Death attacks you, if you have at least 1 hit point, deal 1 damage to each character you control. Well, that's all terrible. Okay. Similar to previous multi-villain scenarios, only 1 member of the Horsemen will activate against you. But in this scenario, none of the Horsemen will be defeated until you reduce all 4 Horsemen of them to 0 hit points. Okay. We kind of had that before, right? They still activate against you. That was with the tower defense one. All right, so soaring above the battlefield on their golden horses, +1/+1, attach the villain with the fewest hit points without the aerial trait. They gain aerial. It's considered to have at least 1 hit point. Okay. After you attach villain, resolve its force response. Okay, that's fine. Or metal wings. Okay. Attach to Death and move the active counter on him. Death gains retaliate and is considered to have at least 1 hit point remaining. Okay, +1/+1. And in Death's case, all right, so Rough Riders. After the forced response on the active villain, as if it has at least 1 hit point and attack on you, move the active counter to the next villain and resolve its forced response. Okay. Sweet. I also want to do a quick shout out. Rough Riders, DMX reference. Obviously, I do DMX references all the time live on stream. X is going to give it to you. So they, Fantasy Flight Games watches my streams confirmed. All right. So then we have Apocalypse, or Big Baddie, which we don't know if this is the final stage or not. But of course, even the 4 Horsemen pale in comparison to Apocalypse himself. This tyrant is nigh invincible, and he only grows in power the longer the fight goes. No problem. No problem. No problem. We'll be done in stage 2 or 2 turns. He's a 1-2-8 life. Okay. Toughness. When the main scheme is complete, remove all threat from it, ignoring the crisis icon. Flip this card and reveal Apocalypse 2. Okay. Apocalypse gradually upgrades to stage 2. Okay. 2-2-9 steady toughness. When the main scheme is completed, reveal Apocalypse 3. Okay. Okay. Apocalypse 3. 2-3 steady toughness. Okay, there's a 4, 10 with hit points. Okay. Okay, so he's got 4. So he's a 3-3. Still only 11 life. Stalwart toughness. He gains overkill. When the main scheme is completed, the players lose the game. Still 11 hit points. That's not too bad. I mean, I guess you have to do it a lot of times, so. The Age of Apocalypse. X amount. X is the numeral in Apocalypse's printed hit point value. Oh. Okay. 1-1. When Apocalypse would be defeated, discard each attachment from him and heal all damage from him instead. Remove X threat from this scheme. Okay, that's fine. This scheme also prevents him from being defeated. How could our heroes hope to win against such impossible odds? Because we have Valkyrie. It's easy. Easy clap. Thankfully, there is a way. In order to defeat Apocalypse, you use Valkyrie. The heroes must first take their way to the heart of the Empire. All right, so the threat cannot be removed from this scheme while a prelate minion is in play. When defeated, it starts with 2. The first player reveals a random set aside prelate minion. Deal each other player an encounter card. Flip this card over. It's got an acceleration icon. Okay. In order to reach the tower, oh my god, this is like a whole journey we gotta do. Jeez. The threat cannot be removed from this game for each minion in play. Prelate minion. First player reveals a random set aside prelate minion. Deal each player an encounter card. Reveal the tyrant. Okay. This is a lot of stuff for me to think about on screen. I'm sure this is much better in practice. Once they've climbed the tower and reached the tyrant's throne. Oh god, there's 3 of them. Okay. Reveals a set aside prelate. Okay, so a lot of minions, a lot of thrones. Moving all the way up and is no longer worthy. Oh no, he looks so sad. Attach to Apocalypse and heal in 5 hit points from him. He cannot take damage while there's a minion in play, a prelate minion. Ignore the force response on the main scheme. When Apocalypse is defeated, the players win the game. Okay, so this is a very Magneto feeling, right? Kind of going through the whole process of the tower and Citadel. It gets worse and worse. I mean, it gets a lot worse than what his is. So it's a very interesting design for sure. So excited for that. We'll reveal more about the the big baddie is third again. Right? Unless they're making a comment that like 4th and 5th scenarios in general and Apocalypse is still the last one. But we're going to end up with a Loki situation all over again. So brace yourselves with what's to come. Who would they tie in with X-Men? Defenders? Fantastic Four? Does any of that tie in? Let me know. All right, Heroes of Hope. The might of Apocalypse is staggering. The threat he poses is unlike anything our heroes have faced before. Thankfully, we have more. So, Lucas Bishop and flips the Bishop. Bishop was someone that a lot of people wanted, so let's check him out. It's time-traveling soldier. So, temporarily displaced. Response. After you change to this form, add a temporal card in your discard pile to your hand. He's 6 hand size, 12 hit points. for recovery. 2/2/1 stat line. After Bishop takes any amount of damage from an attack, discard an equal number of cards from the top of your deck. Add each resource card discard its way to your hand. Okay. It's interesting. It's an interesting way of doing things. This represents this. Oh, I'm sorry. It's time traveling. Okay. Hero ability energy absorption, which allows him to discard cards on top of your deck after being attacked and add any number of resource cards to your hand. Like, it's not. Like, that could be good, but at the same time, if you're just dumping all your good cards and you're just getting more encounter cards, like, not as great, but okay. If you're lucky, you could wind up with a bunch of stored energy in your hand after taking a big hit from the villain. What's stored energy? All right, 2 resource card. Okay, cool. Naturally, Bishop comes with several cards in his kit that make special use out of all those resource cards. His signature ally is Malcolm. 3/1/2/3. Discard a resource card from your hand. Ready Malcolm. If that card has a printed fist resource, heal 1 damage from Malcolm. Oh, I like that. That's cool. Randall. Okay, so another 2 ally deck here. 3/2/1/3 stat line. Discard a resource card that from your hand. Ready Randall. If that card has a printed energy resource, heal 1. Okay, that's fine. Both can be readied and healed by discarding a resource card. With Bishop's Rifle, 2 cost upgrade. Restricted. Exhaust Bishop's Rifle and choose an enemy. Deal 1 damage to the enemy for each resource card in your hand. This attack gains ranged. Okay, so exhaust Bishop's Rifle and choose an enemy. So you have to throw away anything. It's just what's in your hand, which is interesting. Okay. And his uniform, 2 cost upgrade. After resolve Bishop's energy absorption ability, exhaust Bishop's uniform. Heal 1 damage from Bishop for each resource card in your hand. Okay, so we can heal a lot. That's cool. Both scale the number of resources in your card. Okay, I'm down with that. That's fine. Discard extra resource cards to build up Supercharge. All right, 0 cost upgrade. Discard a resource card from your hand. Place 1 charge counter here for each resource icon on that card. When you make a basic attack, discard Supercharge. You get +2 attack for... Wait, when you make a discard Supercharge, okay, so you have to get rid of it. You get +2 attack to a maximum of 8 for each charge counter here. So you want to discard 4 resources, right? Okay. All right, that's fine. Or using to play Concussive Blast. 3 cost event deals 6 damage to an enemy if you pay for this event with a resource card, Ready Bishop. Okay, that's fine. 3 for 6 isn't great, but to ready up is pretty strong. to dish out some damage and ready Bishop for another round. All right, cool. As the battle-tested field commander, Bishop is a natural fit for the leadership aspect, which is pre-built with. As we said before, Age Apocalypse is all about X-Men X-Force coming together to take on Apocalypse. So, strong X-Force allies like Cable. All right, 4-2-3-3. After Cable thwarts and defeats a side scheme, draw one card. Okay, that's legit. X-23. 3-1-3-3. After X-23 attacks and defeats an enemy, ready her up, which is nice. That's really good. Okay. Command similar ability with the newer additions of Legion. 3-1-1-3. After Legion uses a basic power, discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource has, actually, you probably want to use this with Domino, right? After Legion uses a basic power, discard the top card of your deck. For like digging deeper and stuff, right? You could do that. Anyway, deal 2 damage to an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme, heal 2 damage from Legion. Though, if it's a wild, that's how they're getting around this. If the printed is wild, it gets nothing. That's how they're not letting you exploit it. Okay. All right. So, Legion and Marrow. 2-1-2-2. Play only if you have X-Force or X-Men trait. After Marrow enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy. That's really good. Okay. Cool. Provide some extra burst utility. Once you've built up a team, use Advanced Suit. 0 cost upgrade attached to an X-Force X-Men ally. After attached ally defeats a minion or side scheme, discard 1 card from your hand. Heal 1 damage from attached ally for each resource on that card. Okay. That's fine. To boost any X-Men, X-Force ally to keep them in the board a bit longer. Okay. I mean, if you're doing like a Voltron build, sure. But that would be the one situation I feel like. If your hero has an identity-specific ally that you really want to keep around, make sure you're a sidekick. 1 cost upgrade. Attached to an identity-specific ally you control, max 1 per deck. Attached ally gets +2 hit points and is your sidekick. After you make a basic recovery, heal 2 damage from attached ally. There's some fun things you can do with that. There's some real fun things you could do that. I mean, Vivian, right away, obviously, huge. X-23 I haven't played yet, but I feel like with her build, you'll want to work on this with the posse stuff. Put it on that. There's some interesting things you can do with that. I like that. So you can fight with them side by side. All right, ready your sidekick. Ready your hero. And choose one. Heal 1 damage from both characters. Both characters get +1/+1 to land phase. I like this a lot. I think this is actually a really cool design space now with this sidekick thing with leadership. Leadership's always felt like a bit dull to me. I like this. This is really cool. I'm 100% for this. I think this will get me playing a leadership. I'm already thinking Domino right away. But even some other allies that you could do. I think that's pretty cool stuff. All right, so joining the fight alongside Bishop is Ilyana? Rasputin? Ilyana? All right. She's eating Chinese. I could go for Chinese. All right. 3 recovery. 6 hand size, 10 hit points. Interesting. When you change the hero form, choose a spell in your discard pile and put it to the top of your deck. Okay. Cool. Better known as magic. 1/2/2 stat line. Play with the top card of your deck face up. Okay. Once per phase, you may play the top card of your deck as if it were in your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. All right, so it's making her hand size a little bit bigger. And being able, wow, okay. Yeah, being able to play the top card, maybe you get an expensive card there, that's huge. As both mutant and mystic, she has access to a wide variety of powers, and her ability allows you to treat the top card of your deck as if it were part of your hand. You also get a discount for playing it from the top of your deck, so you can strategically use the power of Limbo. 1 cost support. After the villain phase begins, exhaust Limbo. Swap a card in your hand with the top card of your deck. I like that a lot. Exhaust Limbo. Swap a card in your hand with the top card of your deck. So you could do it twice? After the villain phase begins, exhaust. Oh, no. Okay, you could do it one time or the other. This is for defense stuff. I get it. Okay. You could pull off some impressive feats for cheap. Yeah, that is really cool. I like that a lot. Most of the rest of Magic's kit interacts with the top deck as well. Her crown. Magic gains steady 2 cost upgrade while the top of your deck has a mental or wild resource icon. She gets +1 thwart. Interesting. Armor. 1 cost upgrade. She gains retaliate. If it's energy or wild, she gets defense. Okay. I like how they're doing this. I like how it's the upgrades are a little bit cheaper because usually like a 2 cost upgrade and you just get like +1 attack or whatever. And they're changing it up, and I think this is pretty cool. 1 cost soul sword restricted. Magic's basic attacks gain piercing. While the top card of your deck has a fist or wild resource, she gets +1 attack. All right. I definitely like that. I like the idea of they're changing up because we're getting kind of bored. I'm getting kind of bored of it being like, you just put in 2 cost upgrade and you get +1 attack or whatever. That's a fun way of doing it. Makes it a little harder to plan, but I think that's a fun way of doing it. You can use magic signature stepping discs. 1 cost event. Ready your hero. Choose a magic card in your discard pile, not named stepping disc, and put it on top of your deck. That's good. All right. To warp a card from your discard pile back to the top of your deck to give yourself a buff that you need. Still not enough control for you? Then do some scrying. 0 cost event. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Draw 1, discard 1, and put 1 back on top of your deck. Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. I think she's going to be fun. Deck manipulation stuff, I'm 100% for. This is going to be fun. To stack the deck and net yourself a card in hand. And if you're worried about magic taking damage while you're getting set up, call on her brother Colossus. Hey, okay, cool. So 3/2/2/3 toughness. When an enemy attacks you, play Colossus from your hand, paying his resource cost, and declare him the defender without exhausting him. That's really nice. Okay. So, with her impressive versatility, it's no surprise that Magic is a fierce fighter. This is reflected in her pre-built aggression deck, let's go, which doubles down the versatility while also allowing her to dish out some serious damage. Call on Gold Balls. Okay. 3/1/1/3 X-Men. When Gold Balls attacks, discard up to 3 cards on the top of your deck. Gold Balls gets +X attack for this. +X attack for this attack, where X is the number of cards discarded this way. Oh, so it could be up to 3. To deal the exact damage you need, use Tempest. 2/1/1/2. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. When the villain would scheme, discard Tempest. Cancel the activation. Deal yourself 1 face down encounter card. That's a saver right there. I mean, I hate getting encounter cards, but a lot of times I lose to advance, so I like that. Stop the villain from scheming. All right, whenever Magic takes down an enemy by herself, you can tap into Blood Rage. 1 cost upgrade. After you defeat an enemy with a basic attack, exhaust Blood Rage and take 1 damage. Draw 1 card. Okay. For healing people, this is interesting. Like an X23 Wolverine build, this could be interesting. All right, net yourself a card. Then use attack events like full body charge, 4 cost event. Geez, deal 8 damage to an enemy. Okay, if your hero's remaining hit points are less than half your hero's starting hit points, this attack gains overkill. All right, less than half. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. To build up counters for test the defense. 1 cost upgrade. After you play an attack event, place 1 test counter here. If there are 5 test counters here, discard this card to deal 5 damage to an enemy. That's solid. That's really solid. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Allowing to take down tougher foes with a 1/2 punch. Befitting her status as a mystic. Magic's deck also features the Blood Gem. 0 cost upgrade. Play only if your identity has the mystic trait. Exhaust Blood Gem and take 2 damage. Generate a wild resource. Okay. If you need 1, that's not bad. And the multi-use basic spell. 2 cost event. Play only if your identity has a mystic trait. Choose 1. Heal 3 from your identity. Okay. Remove 3 threat from the scheme. Deal 3 damage to enemy. Think about this too. Like, I would just do the personal side scheme, the build support, and do the glitch to get it in, right? To play like Queen Carrier or something like that. Like it seems like doing that would be better than taking 2 damage constantly to get a wild resource. But I do like this card for sure. This event. That's a solid event. Basic spell. It seems that our hero can be doing a little bit of everything. So as with everything, there heralds a new wave of heroes. Like the previous wave, there will be 4 hero packs, each of them featuring a member of the X-Men. We'll visit each one time, but here's a sneak peek. I have literally no idea. Let me know. That's like Jubilee, right? It's gotta be Jubilee. Nightcrawler? Jubilee Nightcrawler? I don't know who that is, and that is. That'd be our 2 females then, and we have 2 guys. Yeah, that's okay. That's my guess. Jubilee. No, wait. Nightcrawler's not female. Jubilee Nightcrawler. Is it Nightcrawler? Yeah, because it's like crouching. Nightcrawler crouches a lot, right? I have literally no idea for this person or this person. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I don't know what that is. And it comes out March 2024. Good time to come out. All right, so there you have it. There is our preview of the new expansion. It looks really solid. We don't know who designed this. I think this is Caleb's design. In general, I'm a big fan of Caleb Grace's design, so I think this is his. I think. So we don't know for sure yet. But yeah, I really like his stuff in general. So I'm excited for this. It looks super solid. Um, I think the apocalypse thing seems like a good idea, right? I like the way that they are approaching it. I think that's fun and cool. Um, I like. I don't know if I like Bishop as much as I like Magic. Like I like the idea of Magic a lot, right? I like the idea of Magic a lot. I think that's really cool. Bishop seems fine. I don't know if you get bogged down with resources too much. It depends on how much his cards like react with the resources. Like I'm not 100% sure how that would work. So we'll have to see with that. But as far as Magic deck manipulation stuff, 100% for it. Super excited for. Some of the other cards seem fine. The leadership, the sidekick thing, I'm on board with 100%. I think that seems pretty cool. And Pursued by the Past, I think is an interesting design choice. So it'd be cool to see how that works. So yeah, so far looking pretty good, pretty solid. Kind of what I expect from Caleb at this point. So yeah, and I'm excited to see what the other two villains are. If they kind of keep that one close to the vest on that and don't say anything or whatnot. But yeah, let me know your guesses for the villains, two of them, and let me know your guesses for the four other heroes that are out there. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you made this far, do me a huge favor, hit like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. See y'all next time.